All right, for the second day of factoring, we're going to look at different shortcuts we have while we're factoring. And then also we're going to look at different tables and decide what types of functions they are. For what function is the table, I want to figure out whether they are linear, quadratic, or neither. We already know, we saw in the past units, that a linear table is always adding. So here I can see that I'm subtracting 3. Here I'm subtracting 6, and from -2 to -5 I'm subtracting 3. So I need to look at the x side and see what's happening over there. To go from 2 to 4 I'm adding 2. To go from 4 to 8 I'm adding 4. And to go from 8 to 10 I'm adding 2. So as you see, they both follow the same pattern. I can put -3 over 2, and I know that that's the same thing as -6 over 4. So this first table is linear, because even though it skips in the table, I'm following the same pattern every time. For this next table, when I look at it to see what it's adding, here I'm subtracting 1, but here I'm adding 2, and this last one I'm adding 5. On the other side, I can tell I'm just adding 1 each time, so I know that there's not really anything going on there. So what I have to do to see if something's quadratic, I have to see, okay, am I adding something, the same thing, the second time? So the difference between -1 and 2, I'm adding 3. And to go from 2 to 5, I'm adding 3. So in a quadratic table, your first difference doesn't match, but the second difference will. For this last table, we just have to look at it. Again, I am adding 4, and then I'm subtracting 7, but then adding 4. If I try to look here, then I am subtracting 11, but then here I'm adding 11. So right here, the second difference doesn't match. My x values are changing by extremely different things, so I can go ahead and say that this is not linear and it is not quadratic. So here, I list off some factoring shortcuts. Take some time to pause this and write down these shortcuts. Try and make sense of them on your own. Hopefully once you see an example of each of these, you'll understand what I'm saying. The first shortcut only happens when your a value is 1. The second shortcut happens when a and c are both perfect squares. And 3 is just saying if a and c are perfect squares but I'm adding instead of subtracting, then I know it is prime. So for the factoring shortcuts, what this first one says is if a equals 1, which here it does, then I do have a specific shortcut I can use. Using the star will always work, but here, if you understand this, and you can move it along a little bit faster. So I need to find two numbers that will multiply to -21, but add to -4. And right away, I know that that is -7 and 3. So I could either solve this using the star, or since a is 1, I know that my two factors will just be x minus 7 and x plus 3. For the second problem, I do not have a b value, and a and c are both perfect squares. So the way I can get, or my shortcut for this one, is I'm actually going to take the square root of both terms. The square root of 4x squared is 2x. The square root of 25 is 5. And then one is positive and the other one's negative. So again, if you use the star here, you should get 2x plus 5 and 2x minus 5 for your answer. This last one, again, I'm using 4x squared and 25, so both my a term and c term is a perfect square. However, I'm adding in this problem instead of subtracting. If there's that addition here, this problem will never work. So I can go ahead and say that it is prime. So those are the 3 examples of the shortcuts for you. I would like for you to try 3 on your own problems. I need to write them out. The first one is x squared plus 3x plus 2. The other one I would like for you to try is x squared minus 81. And the last one is going to be different from the examples. This is a problem where the a value is not 1. So here, there is not going to be a shortcut for the last one. You need to use the star method. Again, the shortcuts work, but the star will always work. So if you don't like the shortcuts or don't understand them, then just use the star and you should get the same answers as us once we start using the shortcuts. That's all I have for you. Good luck.